Stop shuffling your feet. Did you know that your current walking speed is a dead-on prophecy of when you will die? This medical fact is no myth, and if you ignore it, your independence is being threatened by cruel time. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, in the United States coldly and precisely records that every year 1 in 4 seniors over 65 experience a fall, and one wrong fall could mean the end of your freedom, turning your home from a palace of comfort into a medical iron-barred prison. This material exposes one secret movement that is scientifically proven to reverse the age of your legs, restore your freedom to be active, and make you walk fitter, taller, and more confidently than in the previous decade. We will dissect the anatomy, neurology, biomechanics, biochemistry, and psychology of one simple exercise used by top geriatric experts in America to save their patients from wheelchairs. This is not just an exercise guide, it is an instruction manual to hack the aging process, trick your body's cells into stopping their shrinkage, and rebuild the physical foundation that allows you to face old age not with fear, but with full sovereignty over your own body. But before I show you the movement, you need to know why simply morning walking, which you've been proud of as healthy exercise, could actually destroy your joints and accelerate dementia if this deep muscle foundation isn't fixed first. Walking without sufficient foundational strength is like building a luxury house on muddy ground. It will collapse under its own weight, undermining the knees, eroding cartilage, and sending danger signals to the brain that actually trigger systemic inflammation. Imagine the most feared scenario by every elderly person on any part of the earth. You wake up in the middle of the night needing to use the bathroom. The ceramic floor feels cold, maybe a little wet from a dripping faucet. You step in the dark, your feet shuffling slightly from sleepiness, and suddenly, gravity takes over. There is 1 second where your foot hovers in the air, followed by a bone-crushing pain in your hip as you hit the floor. In the United States, millions of seniors lose their independence not because of slow-coming deadly diseases like cancer or heart attacks, but because of one slip in a wet bathroom, or because their legs suddenly refuse to support their weight when getting up from the toilet in the morning. This is not just an accident, it is a verdict that turns a home from a sanctuary into a physical prison. Prestigious research from the Journal of the American Geriatric Society has exposed a hard-hitting and undeniable medical fact. Walking speed, or gait speed, is now officially recognized as the 5th vital sign for seniors. This status places it on par with blood pressure, pulse rate, body temperature, and respiration rate. Why are doctors in America so obsessed with measuring how fast you walk? Because the way you step is the most direct and honest reflection of your entire body system's health. If your step slows down below 0.8 meters per second, it's not just a sign that you're tired or in a hurry. It is a biological alarm screaming loudly that your brain and internal organs are also aging faster. The decline in walking speed correlates directly with brain volume shrinkage, decreased cognitive function, and a weakening heart pump. This is a metric of honesty that cannot be lied to by cosmetics, supplements, or anti-aging drugs. Progressively weakening leg muscles, a medical condition called sarcopenia, is the main culprit behind this physical destruction. However, sarcopenia is just the surface symptom. The actual, much more terrifying and often undetected disease is dynapenia. Dynapenia is the loss of muscle strength, power, and speed that occurs long before the muscle itself visually shrinks. Your nerves lose their ability to recruit muscle fibers quickly. You might still look like you have large thighs, but when you need to react to stop yourself from falling because you tripped on a carpet, the signal from your brain to your legs is a fraction of a second too late. And that fraction of a second is what separates an independent life at home from a lifetime of dependency in a wheelchair. In American culture, which highly upholds individual independence, losing the ability to walk means losing everything. Their identities shatter into pieces. They live in constant fear of nursing homes. Imagine the reality there: antiseptic-smelling facilities, pureed food, and bathing schedules managed by hourly paid strangers. Even more terrifying, the cost could reach $8,000 to $10,000 a month. This is not just a number on paper. It is retirement savings wiped out in a matter of months, a vanished legacy, and ultimately an extraordinary moral burden that burdens their children, who are eventually forced to sell the family home to pay the endless care bills. In Indonesia, we often lull ourselves with the romantic illusion of collective culture. We might think with a thin smile and full confidence, don't worry, I'll just be taken care of by my kids at home. Our culture is gotong royong. But let's be honest with ourselves, staring hard into the cruel reality of today. Our children today are part of the choked sandwich generation. They work hard from morning to night, facing crazy economic pressures, traffic jams, while raising their own children. Are you willing to be an extra burden that forces your child to take repeated time off work just to take you to the doctor? Can you bear to see your grandchild's education savings eaten away for your hospital bills, medicines, and physiotherapy? What is more painful than all that? Are you ready to see them stressed taking care of you, bathing you, and feeding you while holding back tears from extreme physical and mental exhaustion? Feeling helpless, feeling like a burden, and seeing the tears of frustration in your own child's eyes is a poison that kills a senior's soul from the inside before their heart actually stops beating. True independence is not about luxury, it is dignity. It is your fundamental right as a human being. You want to still be able to drive your own car to the traditional market or the grocery store at the end of the street, feeling the wind on your face without having to constantly look for a child's pick-up and drop-off schedule, which might not even exist. You want to still be able to garden in the backyard, pull weeds, and feel the soil in your hands. You want to be able to travel to visit your grandchildren out of town, walk in the park, without constantly looking for a bench to sit on because your legs are trembling. And most fundamentally, you want to be able to go to the bathroom, sit on the toilet, and stand back up without having to ask or wait for anyone to help you clean yourself. Independence is not a luxury owned only by the rich. It is your human right that is being systematically robbed you by gravity, by time, and by a too sedentary lifestyle every single day. Time will not slow down for you, and gravity will not give you a break. If you do not take control of your muscles and nerves today, tomorrow your body will dictate how the rest of your life will be lived. To understand the solution, we must understand the destruction. Your legs are not just a mode of transportation, your legs are your second heart. When you walk, your calf muscles, gastrocnemius and soleus, pump blood from the tips of your toes back to your heart against gravity. When leg muscles weaken from disuse, this pump fails. Blood pools, circulation slows, and oxygen doesn't reach the brain optimally. This is why seniors with weak legs often experience brain fog and cognitive decline. Furthermore, the foot consists of 26 bones, 33 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments. It is a masterpiece of biological engineering. However, when you start shuffling your feet, you alter the natural biomechanics. You start landing with a hard heel strike, sending shockwaves directly to your knees and hips because your thigh muscles are too weak to absorb the impact. The meniscus cartilage in your knees starts to wear away like car tires with worn-out brake pads. Pain emerges, you stop moving, muscles shrink further, and the vicious cycle of physical destruction begins. Forget complicated exercises like running, jumping, or using gym machines that burden the knees and carry a high risk of injury. The one movement most validated by modern geriatric science to build leg strength, bone density, and balance is the chair sit to stand. This is not just getting up from the sofa when a TV commercial comes on. This is a functional squat that tricks your brain into building new muscle. How to do it with medical precision and microscopic detail? 1. Prepare a very sturdy chair. Lean the back of the chair against a wall so it doesn't shift a single millimeter. The chair should be knee height when bent. If the chair is too high, place thick books under its legs. 2. Sit on the edge of the chair, feet shoulder width apart. Pull your toes up slightly so your body weight rests on your heels, a foot tripod position, base of the big toe, base of the pinky toe, and heel. 3. Cross your arms over your chest. This forces your core and lower back muscles to stabilize the spine, preventing you from using hand momentum to push your body. 4. Lean your chest slightly forward. This is the key to physics. Your hips must move forward before your shoulders to shift the center of gravity over your feet. 5. Drive your heels into the floor and stand up powerfully while exhaling. Imagine you are pushing the earth away from you. 6. Hold for 2 seconds in the standing position, squeezing your thigh and glute muscles hard. This locks the joints and trains static balance. 7. Inhale and lower yourself slowly for a full 3 seconds. Do not let yourself fall into the chair. Stop 1 inch above the chair, hold for 1 second, then sit. This lowering phase is the biggest secret I will expose in the next segment. Do 3 sets of 10 repetitions every day. This is your best prescription, more potent than any pill in the pharmacy. Why is this movement so miraculous? Biomechanical research shows this movement activates the gluteus maximus, glutes, and quadriceps, front thighs, simultaneously. It perfectly mimics the biomechanics of walking, climbing stairs, and getting up from the toilet. But the true magic lies in the slow, lowering phase, which in sports science is called the eccentric phase. When you lower yourself slowly, your muscles lengthen while still contracting to hold your body weight. This creates micro tears in the muscle fibers that are much greater than in the lifting, concentric phase. Your body responds to these micro tears by sending satellite cells to repair and thicken those muscle fibers. This is the only way to reverse sarcopenia. More than that, this eccentric phase provides massive tensile load on the tendons and compressive stress on the bones. This triggers Wolff's Law, a fundamental medical principle stating that bone will adapt and become denser when loaded. Bone-forming cells, osteoblasts, will actively stack calcium and collagen in the areas under pressure. Seniors who perform this eccentric phase experience a significant increase in bone mineral density, preventing osteoporosis and fatal hip fractures. When you lower yourself slowly, you are also training your nervous system to react quickly and in a controlled manner when you trip on a carpet in the real world. This builds the brakes and engine of your legs. In 4 weeks, your steps will be longer, your knee joints lubricated by more synovial fluid, and your breath will no longer be panting. Science proves that seniors who do simple resistance training like this experience a dramatic increase in neuroplasticity. The legs are the largest organ connected to the brain. When you do the sit to stand, your brain releases brain-derived neurotropic factor, a protein that acts like magical fertilizer for brain cells, triggering the growth of new neurons in the hippocampus, the memory center. Your brain sends stronger and faster electrical signals to your legs through the spinal cord. You recruit more motor units. Previously, maybe only 50% of your thigh muscle fibers were active when walking. This exercise forces 100% of the muscle fibers to wake up. Morning stiffness will melt away. You will no longer feel like a rusty robot creaking when getting out of bed. This movement forces the brain to remap your body's position in space, proprioception. Independence is your right, and this chair is your free personal medical device as well as a flight simulator for your nervous system, ensuring your brain and legs are always synchronized at the speed of light. However, there is one fatal mistake made by 90% of seniors. They do this exercise but forget to provide the building materials for their muscles. Geriatric nutrition science shows that after age 60, the body experiences anabolic resistance. This means your muscles become deaf to protein. You need more protein just to maintain the same muscle compared to when you were 30. Within 30 to 60 minutes after you do this sit-to-stand exercise, make it mandatory to consume 25 to 30 grams of quality protein, eggs, fish, tofu, tempeh, or whey. Essential amino acids, specifically leucine, act as the key that unlocks the muscle cell door. Leucine will activate mTOR, a master regulator cellular pathway that commands the body to start weaving new muscle. Without protein, your exercise will only break down muscle, making you weaker. With timely protein, you build protective armor for your legs. Don't forget hydration either. The fascia, connective tissue wrapping your muscles, needs water to keep gliding smoothly without painful friction. Many seniors secretly fear moving because they are afraid of falling. In medical psychology, this is called kinesiophobia. This fear makes you walk with short steps, hunched shoulders, and eyes focused on the floor. Ironically, this defensive posture actually increases your risk of falling because it limits your field of vision and slows down reaction time. The chair sit-to-stand exercise in a safe environment near a wall with a sturdy chair systematically tricks the amygdala, the fear center in the brain, into feeling safe. This is a form of exposure therapy. Every time you successfully stand up without pain, your brain records, "We are safe. We are strong." That fear will wash away, replaced with confidence radiating from your now upright posture. You will walk in the mall or in the park with relaxed arm swings, head held high, looking towards the future, not with hands ready to grab the wall at every moment. You take back control from fear. Let's look at what is happening with senior citizens in America. They're facing an epidemic of loneliness and a healthcare cost crisis. An American senior with a hip fracture can lose hundreds of thousands of dollars for treatment and rehabilitation. They fight to the death with this exercise because they know if they fail, they will end up in sterile care facilities, eating pureed food, and relying on foreign caregivers to bathe and use the toilet. They do sit-to-stands to save their lives. In Indonesia, the context is slightly different culturally, but the goal is the same: preserving dignity. We have a culture of mutual cooperation and respecting the elderly. However, modern economic realities make our children busy working, facing heavy life pressures. When you fall ill due to complications from muscle weakness, it is your child who will bear the financial and emotional burden. Doing this exercise every morning is the highest form of love for your children. You are telling them, "I am taking care of my body, so you don't have to sacrifice your youth to care for me." This is about dignity. You want to age gracefully, independently, and be a source of wisdom for your grandchildren, not a patient lying weak in bed. Leg strength doesn't just impact the legs. When you do sit-to-stands with enough intensity, your heart rate increases. This trains your cardiovascular system. More importantly, strong muscle contractions squeeze the lymphatic vessels. The lymphatic system doesn't have a pump like the heart. It relies entirely on muscle movement to flush out toxins and excess fluid from tissues. This exercise is your natural detox machine, reducing the ankle swelling or edema often experienced by seniors. Additionally, active muscles will absorb glucose from the blood without needing much insulin. This drastically improves your insulin sensitivity, protecting you from type 2 diabetes and keeping your energy stable throughout the day, preventing the sleepiness and weakness after meals. Strong legs are a guarantee for a healthy metabolism. Of course, not everyone starts from the same point. If you feel pain in your knees while doing this, check your form. Make sure your knees are aligned with your toes, not caving inward, valgus. Make sure you dominate the movement with your glutes, hip hinge, not burdening the knees. If the chair is too low, raise it with a firm cushion. Over time, when 3 sets of 10 reps feel too easy, you must progress it. Muscles only grow when challenged. You can start holding a water bottle or light dumbbells at your chest. You can slow the lowering phase to 5 seconds. You can switch to a lower chair. The principle of progressive overload is an absolute law in physiology. Never be satisfied with comfort, because comfort is the beginning of decline. The right physical exercise for your legs will magically improve your sleep quality. Research shows that resistance training on large muscle groups like the legs increases the duration of slow-wave sleep, deep sleep. It is in this phase that your body releases large amounts of growth hormone HGH, which is tasked with repairing damaged cells. In this deep sleep, the glymphatic system in your brain will wash your brain, flushing out amyloid beta plaques, which are the main cause of Alzheimer's disease. So by training your legs during the day, you are literally cleaning your brain of dementia at night. Strong legs during the day means a sharp brain in old age. This is a perfect biological cycle. Unconsciously, you might be feeling a little warm energy flowing into your thighs and calves just by imagining this movement, feeling the subtle pull on your muscle fibers waking up from their slumber. Your subconscious mind knows this is the way home to a liberated old age. As you breathe in right now, let this understanding seep into every cell of your body, rewiring your DNA that says you are old into a new code stating that you are evolving. You don't have to do everything perfectly today. Your body is already starting to change just by you deciding to know this truth, just by the intention you plant right now. Imagine doing this every morning while drinking coffee, looking in the mirror and seeing a more dashing posture, seeing your reflection that is no longer fragile, but like a banyan tree with roots planted firmly into the earth. Imagine the relieved faces of your children when they see you climbing the stairs of their house easily without them having to hold you, seeing you play with the grandchildren on the floor without difficulty getting back up. If you want to keep your steps young, independent, and far from the burden of hospitals, let your finger naturally, as if moved by an invisible force, point to the subscribe button below. Don't think of it as a social media button. Think of it as a small stamp of commitment to your body, an unwritten contract that you choose to live independently, a sacred promise to yourself that you will not surrender to gravity. Share this video with one person you love, one person you want to walk far with in old age, because their health is your happiness, and saving them is extending the lifespan of your own happiness. And write one promise for your body in the comment section. Let those words become a real manifestation, the first stone of your new foundation. We will continue to step forward together, tomorrow and forever, with strong legs, a sharp brain, and a liberated soul. A beautiful, independent, and laughter-filled old age awaits your next step. Stand up and reclaim your independence.